Gordon, it's good to see you today.
Hi, Brad. Good to be here. Thank you.
Great. Well, Gramercy has got a new ticker symbol and a new name. Can you tell us a little bit about what's happened with Gramercy since we spoke last?
Yeah, sure. Since I was last here, we have changed the name. Gramercy Property Trust is the new name. GPT is the new ticker, and it's not just a name change for name change's sake. It really reflects that Gramercy is now a pure play equity REIT. We have divested the lending business. We're a pure play net lease company. We like the name Gramercy. A lot of people have heard of it. It's a nice name. And so we're very excited about the new name and the new ticker.
Great. Well, you got out of the mortgage business just in time because it's been a very volatile sector. And good thing I don't follow the mortgage sector, that mortgage REIT sector that much. So tell us about the net lease sector, which and I think we'll both agree is one of the most durable sectors today. Tell us why net lease, and how does Gramercy differentiate from the other net lease players?
Yeah, it's the net lease sector is getting a lot of attention from investors today. Investors, analysts are intensely focused on what's going on in the net lease sector. In net lease, I think we're quite different. We're quite differentiated. I'd like to say that we're buying very good real estate that happens to be net leased. We are attempting to combine our credit expertise from being in the net lease business for 20 plus years, billions and billions of dollars of net lease transactions, but also with our real estate experience, combining the best of both credit and real estate. And it's very important because net lease investors have been in an environment of falling interest rates for 30 years. We think that's not going to be the future of net lease. And so our specific focus is to buy good assets in good markets that happen to be net lease. So we really think it's the best of both worlds.
Right.
You know, the steady cash flows of net lease, but with terrific real estate assets. And I maybe immodestly think we're buying more of good assets than anybody else I know of.
Right. Well, let's talk about that. You've got Bank of America, Nestle, FedEx, some really big brands in your portfolio. I think you've had some recent acquisitions, around $82 million announced last week. Average cap rate around 7.5% with that portfolio. So how are you sourcing this product today?
Well, one of the nice things about having the team that we have, we were at W. P. Carey together for many, many years. I've been in this business for 25 years. Ben Harris has been in it, coming on 20 years. So we've been doing this as long as anybody has. We've done billions and billions of dollars of this stuff. So, we have great relationships. We're small, so we're able to buy things that I think other people aren't. We move very quickly. That FedEx deal is a good example. While it's a FedEx credit, it's also a terrific building in a good industrial park. Market rents, it was just a renewal, so it's a 10-year lease renewal. Rents were rolled down from what they were previously. So if we do have inflation, that's exactly the kind of asset that I would expect when the lease rolls there, whether FedEx stays or they don't. There's a good case and a good argument to be made that rents will be higher, maybe even significantly higher, because they've been rolled down recently from prior rents, rolled down to market, and now there's upside in those rents. So we're not only buying good credit, but we're buying good assets.
Great. Well, the market really seems to like your business model. 53% year-to-date total return, or as of June 20th, that is. So some pretty incredible numbers out there. What's driving that? And specifically, let's talk about your dividend, because I know your company is different from the other net lease players because you aren't paying out a dividend yet.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
Well, we like to think of it, we're a growth REIT because we're not paying a dividend. But in reality, we intend to pay a dividend. We'll pay a dividend soon. We don't have a public statement on what that means, but we intend to pay a dividend. But we have a competitive advantage, I think, by being small. We're not only nimble and able to find opportunity, but if we buy $80 million that we announced, that moves the needle for Gramercy. $80 million for some of our larger competitors doesn't move the needle. So they either need to buy very large portfolios at very low cap rates or do something else to move the needle. We're able to move the needle by buying, 1, 2, 3, 4 properties at a time and grow earnings. And I think the market's recognizing that a thoughtful strategy that has real growth potential is very valuable. And people know the dividend's coming. When we were at W. P. Carey, we we know the value of dividends to investors, so that's our heritage, and we're going to continue that at Gramercy. We just don't have a dividend yet, and people realize that there's that upside of the dividend coming in the future, but also that we're able to grow our business, and we're substantially growing our asset base and therefore earnings because we're small. So I actually think it's a competitive advantage to be smaller and more nimble in this marketplace and not have to buy these large portfolios at very low cap rates.